he was like, "Oh, what you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, just watching the fights." And he was like, "All right, okay, who's fighting?" And then I go, "Valentina Shevchenko and Joanna Jędrzejczyk." Right? Just really quick. I was like, maybe he knows, maybe he doesn't.
Maybe he doesn't.
I'm gonna try and pronounce these the best I can.
Yeah.
Right? And he was just like, "Cool."
He's like, "What did you just say?" We in. What up? I'm back.
Cello.
I'm back from being gone.
Yeah.
It's good to be back. Hey everybody. He's Chris. I'm Kyle. Welcome to the Chris and Kyle Show. You excited?
Hello.
You ready?
Yeah. Okay.
Did you miss me?
No, not really.
All right. Great.
Can we talk about?
You want to jump right into it?
Okay, let's jump right into it.
So I just showed Chris the trailer for Brightburn. If you don't know what this is a film produced by James Gunn, written by, I think, his cousins, directed by one of his friends, starring Elizabeth Banks, the dude who played Roy on The Office,
right,
and some kid. And it is essentially Superman story if he was evil.
Yeah.
If he was like a cursed little demon boy.
So, all right. So, literally, the trailer opens up with like them. Like you can see like they're on a farm or something like that, and
there's a comet.
and she's talking to a kid, and the kid's like, "Who am I?"
His voiceover.
And I was just like, okay, like what is like why is Kyle so excited? Because you texted me about this a while ago.
I
Like,
texted you last week while I was gone to watch it. Yeah,
and I didn't obviously.
He doesn't listen to me.
But I was like, why is he telling me to watch this trailer, right? And I just start watching it, and I see the farm. I didn't know anything about this.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it. And I see the farm, and I see this mom talking to her
Elizabeth
son,
Banks.
and then she's talking about how like, oh, we couldn't have kids, and then you came to us.
Prayed for kids,
and then it shows a meteor hitting, and I was like, okay, hold up.
And then she pulls a baby out of it.
She pulls a
you
baby
literally
out.
made this face.
And I was like, okay, so this is like if. Because the music, you can tell that it's going to be like a horror movie.
Suspenseful, yeah.
Yeah, and I was
music.
like, okay, so this is going to be like, like if Smallville were a horror movie, but it literally is Superman.
Yeah.
It's literally fucking Superman if he were evil.
Dude, that look is so scary. The cape that goes up over his face like that.
The mask, like, because he has a cape that turns into a mask, and it has like a very,
and it's like stitched together almost.
For those Batman fans out there of the Chris Nolan Batman, it kind of looks like Scarecrow.
Yep.
If Scarecrow's mask were like red and turned into a cape, like a red cape, but his eyes glow behind the mask. Oh man, that looked really fucking interesting.
That movie looks fucking cool.
How does it work out legally? Or can he be Clark Kent?
No, they said his name's Brandon. Brandon Breyer is his name. Okay. He writes it in his notebook, and she calls him Brandon.
So it's not.
And it's
Superman, but it's not literally Superman.
Exactly. It's a hypothetical.
And
what if Superman were an evil demon child?
Yeah,
that's what's happening.
It's Smallville plus The Omen.
Yeah.
It's like that's
so normally I don't give a shit about horror movies. I saw that trailer and I was like, I'm gonna see that instantly.
Interesting.
Give me that movie.
That's really interesting.
Woo!
Have you ever read anything that was like Superman being evil?
There's like the one where he's a Nazi, and then there's the one where, I have. And then I've seen the Injustice games.
Have you read Red Son? That's Red Son is not evil. He's not really evil. He's essentially still who Superman is.
If he fell in Russia. If he landed in Russia.
Cold War Russia. Yeah. I love Red Son.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking really like Red Son, and like the different things that they. For some reason, just repurposing Superman is. I fucking love it.
It worked. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Because that idea is so like, what if he landed anywhere else? There's a multitude of stories to explore there.
Fucking.
What if he landed in Donald Trump's penthouse?
Yeah. Okay. So they even like show a symbol that kind of looks like it looks like a square.
It's
eight,
like
if that makes any sense,
with a line
through it.
Yeah.
It was really interesting because like I instantly just got Smallville vibes. And I was
that they
like Smallville
on purpose. They're pushing it. They're like they're letting you know that this is Superman from the jump.
Yeah.
They don't hide it at all. Yeah. It's really cool. I'm really excited for it. Yeah.
What other movie shit we got?
Well, since we're talking about superhero stuff already, there was a big week last week in promotional stuff for Marvel.
Ooh.
Got the Captain Marvel trailer,
Mm-hmm.
and we got the first Avengers trailer.
Yeah.
And the title. We got the title, Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
Did you
Ideas?
Did you see the Twitter
Impressions?
picture that one of the Russos tweeted out?
Where they
a while
were like,
ago?
look closely.
Yeah.
Yes. Get out of here.
You don't think that
I
Endgame
mean-
is actually in there?
I mean, no, I saw someone literally draw Endgame onto it.
That like,
But it's like such a stretch.
There was like certain letters that I was like,
The A was really obvious because of the
But
ladder.
it would be different if it was like him just putting out a picture, but he literally put out a picture and it says, "Look closer."
Look closer, yeah. It's just like, I mean, even if yes, that is what they were doing, it's just who cares? Like,
Yeah.
it's such a stretch. And I'm not so obsessed over like figuring out what the title of the movie is going to be before they announce it that I'm going to dive into things. I don't care enough.
I don't really
like,
care. I just think it's
like,
cool.
No, it's neat. It's fun, but I don't
Neat
care.
is a
like-
good word for it.
Yeah.
It's neat.
Neat is like it's just unimpressive enough, right?
Mahershala Ali is cool.
Yeah. Hiding the title of the
That
Avengers
was-
movie in a
that's neat.
random picture is neat. But yeah, you have thoughts, ideas, impressions on either of those trailers?
So
Hype level?
I'm excited for both of them. I don't really. Yeah, I'm more excited for Avengers than I am.
I think
Captain
anyone
Marvel.
like the build up to it is too much not to be.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some stuff in that Avengers or the Captain Marvel trailer I'm really hype about. I think the power set looks really like her Super Saiyan shit she's doing looks awesome.
Yeah.
I also like I got some villain vibes off Jude Law in that trailer, which give me that Jude Law. Give me that Jude Law. Woo! What are your thoughts on the online complaint that she doesn't sound superhero-y enough?
What?
Right?
People are complaining. So I've heard
They're
about
complaining
I've heard
about her
the-
voice.
I've heard about like the normal fucking shit of people complaining about her not smiling enough. Which is
Who
yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
People suck. But yeah,
She doesn't
that's a
sound
big, people
superhero
saying
enough?
that she doesn't sound good. Her voice is not, I don't know, authoritative or menace. I don't know what they're looking for. Like,
Right.
it just sounds like Brie Larson.
I don't know. I don't know what they're going for. Yeah, I'm excited for it. Like there's a game that you have to play when you're playing, like when your movie is set in the time that it's set in, you know, and we literally already have movies that are set past this, right?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, this is a prequel to the entire MCU. This takes place in the 90s.
right, and like, how are you going to create stakes? How are you going to craft that? Like, how are we going to be compelled by the story that's actually?
I think
taking
stakes
place?
wise, I don't think a lot of this movie is going to be on Earth.
No.
I don't think so. There's a lot of alien stuff going on.
Okay.
And I think if I were to guess, by the end of the movie, Carol is not on Earth at all. She's out in space somewhere, and that's why she hasn't been around.
Doesn't she like crash into a blockbuster? Like
Yeah, I think she's part of the, what are they called, the Starjammers or something like that. I don't remember. So I think she's gonna be in some kind of conflict in space. She's gonna land on Earth. I don't think she knows she's from Earth based on the trailer. That's the most interesting thing about this to me. It seems like she thinks she's a Kree. She says it in the trailer. She
Right.
thinks she's an alien.
Right.
She's clearly a human. For whatever reason, she ended up with the Kree. They juiced her up with the powers. She thinks she's one of them. She's in this like elite task force of space rangers, and in her interactions with Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury with the de-aging, incredible technology, she is giving off this vibe that like she doesn't think they're the same. Like she doesn't even understand that they're the same species.
Right.
It's crazy. And like he's doing like little. He's like, what's with this? What's with her? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. It's like Tarzan and Jane.
Yeah, kind of.
Except
I'm really
she's
interested in
Tarzan.
that dynamic of because they push pretty hard in the trailers of her getting flashes of memory, and I love the shots of her as a kid, and then her as a pilot in the military, and then her now as Captain Marvel, do like standing up back to back to back. I think that's really cool the way they do that. Yeah, I think it's super dope. I'm really excited for it. I also think that we're going to get a cultural moment similar to the way we did with Black Panther when this movie comes out.
Yeah.
I think a lot of women are going to go see this movie, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean,
we
think
got it
that's
with
cool.
we got it with Wonder
do you
Woman
think
too.
Do you think the magnitude of it is going to be that of Black Panther? I would guess. That
or
it
Wonder
wouldn't
Woman?
be. I would guess that it wouldn't be, but I don't know.
No, I think it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I mean, just Marvel is a force at this point. You can't stop it.
Like, am I fucking
Just, I
misogynist
mean,
for thinking that
your
like
your
girls
argument.
aren't-
Well, your argument might be like, not enough people know who Captain Marvel is, or Brie Larson's not famous enough, even though she's an Oscar-winning actress. Maybe
I wouldn't even say
But
that. I would
I mean,
just
those
say
are just
like,
arguments you could make.
I would just say that girls
And girls might not care, but I'm predicting
Yeah.
that it's going to pop off.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
I think it's gonna make a shit ton of money.
Oh,
just
it's going to make
because.
tons of money.
Just because.
Yeah.
Um,
All Marvel movies do. Avengers. I think the best thing about the Avengers trailer was that it
show anything.
It made me excited for what's coming and didn't show anything. Like, it gave us no information about what's coming. I thought that was really cool. Rest in peace to Steve's beard. You will be sorely missed.
Yeah, it's gone.
Sorely missed. I saw a funny picture on Twitter. The scene in the trailer where Bruce Banner is looking through all like the computer thing, and like everyone who's died is showing up. Somebody put just Steve's beard. I was like, oh, dude, shed a tear. Shed a tear for it. Yeah, dude, I'm hyped. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how they're going to go through it. All I know is that by the end of the movie, everyone who died, or by like halfway through the movie, anyone who died in the previous movie will no longer be dead.
Do you think it's gonna happen halfway through the movie?
At some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Like, do you think that
Like the first act is going to be them like resetting things, and the second act is going to be them like reuniting maybe,
and then
and then the
figuring
third
out
act
how
is
to
going to be
take,
them beating Thanos again.
right?
That's my guess.
Because there's no Avengers movies planned out after this one.
There's
right?
no what?
Avengers movies after this one, right?
I'm sure they will make them, but there's none announced that I know of. We know that the first movie of Phase, 4 at this point, is Spider-Man Far From Home, which we were supposed to get a trailer for last week and didn't. Bummer, because it's Spider-Man week here at the Chris and Kyle show. That would have been fun. Yeah, it's Spider-Man Far From Home. I think Doctor Strange 2 just got announced. Guardians 3 is still being made, but they pushed it back because of the James Gunn stuff. The guy who made Kubo and the Two Strings is rumored to be taking over. What else is on there for sure? I think Black Panther 2 is definitely on there. Another Ant-Man movie, maybe? I think there's like a Champions movie or there's some weird stuff. They're pulling another Guardians where they were like, dig deep in the backlog of random characters and let's make something weird again.
Right.
Which I applaud that. Do weird stuff. Take risks. It's fun. Plus, on top of that, they've got the shows coming out on their streaming service. So they've got a lot of stuff coming. I think the general rumor is that going forward, they're going to maybe lean into like a new Avengers feel, because people think Steve's going to die. I think Steve's going to die because Chris Evans once is done. So sad. But yeah. I love Chris Evans.
Chris Evans isn't dying.
Yeah, but like he is though. He is though.
So do you think that the Thanos storyline will end with this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why I think that?
Why?
Because they just got the rights to everything Fox had. And you know who Fox had the rights to? Galactus, baby. Give me a Galactus movie.
Yeah.
And make him wear that big, stupid purple armor. Give it to me in all of its wackadoodleness, dude. Make it as weird as possible. Galactus is so dumb.
All right, for the
while being so cool.
All right, for the uninformed,
Explain
kind of
Galactus.
like myself. Yeah.
Explain.
What is the difference between Thanos and Galactus?
One, Galactus is like 3,000 times as big. Galactus he literally eats planets. That's his thing.
Because the only Galactus that we've seen so far in a cinematic universe, right, was Fantastic Four: The Silver Surfer.
Yeah, where he was a
Silver
big.
Surfer is like his henchman, right?
He is
basically?
his herald.
Okay.
He goes forward and announces the coming of Galactus. Yeah, we saw big cloud Galactus. That is a prime example of being ashamed of your source material. That is what that is. But yeah, I think that we can expect an infusion of things that Fox owned in the coming 5 years for Marvel. That includes the X-Men. That includes the Fantastic Four. That includes Doctor fucking Doom. And that includes Galactus. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I think that I'm interested to see how Kevin Feige and Marvel handle the transition to the next era of Marvel movies.
Right.
Because I think there's going to be a bit of a changing of the guard. But I think that they have the ability, to do it well. I think they can pull it off. I'm interested in it. I did have another Marvel thing. Do you know who Shang-Chi is?
No.
Shang-Chi? Shang-Chi. Wait. I don't want to get this wrong. Yeah, Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is basically the Bruce Lee of the Marvel Universe.
Okay.
He is a dude who has 0 superpowers, but he is the greatest martial artist in the world. He's a superhero in Marvel Comics. He's getting a movie. They are fast-tracking a Shang-Chi movie.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that could be another one. That's
Anybody
part of Phase
involved?
4. No, they literally were just like, we're now starting the process of developing this film.
Okay.
So no director, no writer, no lead.
Okay.
Although if I were to bet, I'd say there's a good chance Henry Golding gets it. I don't know how much. I don't know how much he has in terms of
Golding?
the guy from Crazy Rich Asians. Crazy Rich Asians, not Crazy Stupid Love. Crazy Rich Asians who are crazy stupid in love. But yeah, he's kind of blowing up a little bit in Hollywood, so I could see him at least being rumored for it. But I don't know how much he has in terms of
Martial arts
experience. Yeah, because that's going to be
are they going to go for
super
someone?
important. Like I would much rather them cast someone we've never heard of who's an amazing martial artist than cast someone kind of famous who can't do any martial arts.
Right. I think just as important as that is casting a director who's made those kind of movies before.
Yeah, go get honestly, someone who's directed Daredevil episodes could do it. Who's the dude who made like the Raid and stuff?
I don't know the guy's name, but he'd be another one.
Yeah,
That'd be really
like people that I think that something that Marvel always shoots to do. There's a few things that this movie incorporates that Marvel shoots to. At least lately, they've been trying to push. They've been using more diverse characters, which I think this speaks to because he's going to be an Asian lead. And they shoot to try to do each movie as its own sort of genre. Everything is a Marvel movie, and everything feels like a Marvel movie, but they all have their own sort of sub-genre thing. You know what I mean? And I think that for a Shang-Chi movie, it's a movie like The Raid. It's a martial arts movie. It's a kung fu movie.
Yeah.
Like that classic idea of a Bruce Lee movie. And I think the more they embrace that, the better and the more excited I'll be for it.
I wonder how like grounded it would be though. Because like that was the thing that was different with Bruce Lee movies. Like there's like several sub-genres of martial arts movies, right? Like you have wire fu pictures, which were like super popular before Bruce Lee came around, right? Like the people
are these ones where people like are literally jumping like really far
and floating across trees,
okay.
like
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yes, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is like a contemporary version of a wire fu picture.
Okay.
Right. And Bruce Lee didn't really like that as much. He didn't like
because it's not grounded.
Yeah, because he was like, dude, I'm a fucking athlete.
Yeah,
like just put that camera over there and watch me do
some cool kung fu. Yeah, dude, give me that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Also, I hope Jackie Chan's in it. I don't know anything about Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
I don't know his supporting cast.
Yeah.
All I know is that he is like considered the best martial artist in Marvel Comics.
Uh-huh.
I hope Jackie Chan's in it. I hope there's some sort of mentor figure
right.
or something. I just want Jackie Chan in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be cool. Cool. It's kind of too late to get Bruce Lee.
Yeah. You could get Jet Li.
Maybe they could do like like what they did with Tupac and like the hologram thing.
A hologram of Bruce Lee in the movie?
Or you could do what Blade Runner 2049 did with
Zip your lid.
What?
I haven't seen it.
I don't think I'm really spoiling anything there. But
are you sure?
I don't know. I actually don't know if I'm spoiling anything.
Don't say it, just in case. I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, but I thought that was really cool. So
I think even if I finished that sentence, you would have been like, okay, wait, what?
I'm cutting you off anyway. No word on that movie. Yeah, I just thought that was cool. Cool idea. And I hope that they lean into that sort of kung fu movie thing. Mm-hmm. That would be really fun. Mm-hmm. That's all the Marvel stuff. It's a lot of Marvel stuff, but that's it. Mm-hmm. I saw a couple movies while I was gone that I'm going to shout out a little bit. Because so the first one we'll definitely talk about when we do our Oscar stuff, because A Star is Born is really fucking good.
I was like laying in bed last night scrolling through Instagram, and there was like a fucking video that came up in order to promote A A Star Is Born, and it's literally just Lady Gaga like in front of a microphone, and like there's all of these like pink and blue lights and stuff like going around her, and you can just tell she's just emoting the fuck out of this song,
dude.
And like and her voice is so fucking beautiful. Anybody who thinks that like Lady Gaga isn't a talented musician is out of their fucking
No, she's
mind.
amazing.
She's not just a
like if you don't like the
but a
Lady
lot of
Gaga
people
bit, the meat dresses and
I was
stuff
literally
like
about to
that.
bring that
Like
up. Yeah.
I get not liking that. That's fine. But if you can't respect just the talent, the voice that she has, she's incredible.
Well, because a lot of people will listen to like her music and just kind of assume that it's production.
Yeah.
Like it's
not.
That.
She went to Juilliard, homie.
Yeah, she's a fucking killer. She has an amazing voice, and she apparently she was she was the lead singer for a Led Zeppelin cover band.
I get that.
Earlier on, like I listened to an interview with her on Howard Stern, and he brought that up, and then she just fucking starts getting into fucking Black Dog, and I was just like, oh god damn, dude. She's really fucking talented.
She's amazing.
And when I saw that,
it's kind of interesting because part of her character in this movie is sort of battling with the idea of
someone who doesn't think that they're good.
No. Well, yes, but her manager wants her to dye her hair and do all, and she's like, but I just want it to be me. And it's funny because it's like when Lady Gaga started, she was so crazy, and she's gotten sort of more mellowed down as she's done more, which is interesting. Yeah. But like, so the movie's amazing, and I'm sure you'll see it, and we'll talk about it around Oscar time. But just the props to Bradley Cooper for being a first-time director, crazy. The performance that he gets out of Lady Gaga, and credit to Lady Gaga for the performance, it's just nuts. Like if you see her she's acted in like American Horror Story and some other things, and she's horrible.
Really?
Now in this, she's amazing. She's so good. Also, Samuel L. Jackson's really good. But we won't talk about it too much. Just
I like I have to see this movie, but I like the idea of like Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga working with each other on like each other's.
So I literally,
there's
Lady Gaga said, so to get the movie even made, Bradley Cooper was trying to get the movie made, and they had to film some test footage with Lady Gaga and like to get people to believe it, to be like, because he was like, yeah, Lady Gaga's going to play the lead, and they were like, no,
right,
and he was like, no, trust me. So he went and they shot some footage to like prove it to people,
right.
And one of the things that Lady Gaga's talked about is how important it was to her that Bradley Cooper respected her as an actor for the film, and in turn, she respected him as a musician, because Bradley Cooper spent like over a year practicing and learning from teachers every day to learn how to play guitar and to improve his singing. And he said like he went into it and he's like, yeah, I can sing, it's fine. And then he was like, oh wait, no, I can't. Right. Like the amount that he had to learn to become a rock star. Like his character in the movie is a rock star, right? And he shreds in the movie. And they went to like Coachella to film these scenes. And they were like, yeah, you've got 10 minutes in between bands, and get what you can. So they like the scene from the trailer, the song from the trailer where Lady Gaga's going crazy, like that. It's like that. They shot that in like 10 minutes in one take, and they were like, that's what we've got. Let's use it. And Lady Gaga convinced Bradley Cooper that they needed to sing their stuff live to make it more authentic feeling. Really? So there's like so much that went back and forth between the two of them, teaching each other and helping each other through the process. It's so interesting. And the movie is amazing. But you'll see it and we'll talk about it more in depth. I saw two other things. One of them was Mowgli, which there's not much to say about it. It's not as good as Jungle Book.
It's just
it
bad?
It's just, I don't want to say it's bad. Like I sat there with my family and I watched it and I didn't like regret watching it or anything, but it's just, its worst thing is that it doesn't look good. Like the CG is poor, which is so weird to me because Andy Serkis is the king of mocap performance. You'd think directing he would be able to channel that in some way, but I mean, obviously he's done. It's different on the technical aspect and everything. It's just weird. Like Benedict Cumberbatch plays Shere Khan, and he has like a human forehead. It's just so weird the way things look. It's just very off-putting throughout the movie, and it was almost like, because they always pitched this when they were like, this is going to be like a darker take on the Jungle Book, more close to Rudyard Kipling's.
Yeah, I was about to ask that. Is it like totally different?
Original. It's like, it feels like a normal basic movie for the first like act and a half, 2 acts, and then it gets darker. But it's like not real. It's a little bit. It's more like convoluted than anything. Like the final act is like loaded with like just back, like it's just so much happens. You're like, wait, what's going on? And it's fine. Like I wouldn't say don't watch it. If you like The Jungle Book or if you like movies like that, you'll like it. But don't watch it. But the one that I saw that I did like a lot was Outlaw King.
What the fuck is that?
Is that the Chris Pine's Netflix movie where he plays Robert the Bruce, who is the...
Aaron Taylor Johnson is in that, right?
Oh, I'm going to talk about Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Because we went to LA and we saw a poster for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that Aaron Taylor Johnson? And you're like, no, it's not.
He's bearded
and I was
up.
like, dude, it
doesn't even look like him unless you have your superpower.
I have very little skills. I have very little skills, but the ones that I do have are one of them is
facial recognition.
Well, just recognizing that like who someone is. Because like I did that with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse too.
Yeah. But so Outlaw King is directed by the same guy who directed Hell or High Water, which I have not seen yet.
Fucking Taylor Sheridan.
Oh wait, is the guy that wrote it then? Hold on, David Mackenzie.
Did he?
Hold on, let me get it right. Hold on.
I'm pretty sure that Taylor Sheridan wrote.
Outlaw King is directed by David Mackenzie. David Mackenzie directed Hell or High Water.
So Taylor Sheridan
wrote Hell or High Water.
Okay, gotcha.
He did not write this film. No, he did not write this film, but David Mackenzie was one of the writers on it. So yeah.
What is Outlaw King?
Outlaw King is a story of Robert the Bruce, a king of Scotland. The very beginning of the movie.
Wait, hold on. His name is Robert the Bruce.
Robert the Bruce. Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, it was the 1300s. Things were weird. The beginning of the movie is the Scottish people have been overrun by the English. The English are trying to take Scotland,
right? And
they all swear fealty to England, except for one dude, William something. I can't remember. William something. And then a few minutes go by. Chris Pine like swears himself to the King of England, all this stuff. There's an inciting incident and they go back. They're like, we got to have another rebellion. We can't be riding with the King of England. Like, we hate him and he's a dick. So the story is about Chris Pine's Robert the Bruce trying to take back Scotland for the Scottish people. And I really enjoyed it. I haven't seen Hell or High Water, but now I want to see it even more because I want to see David Mackenzie and Chris Pine's work in that movie. You have it right here?
Yeah, Hell or High Water?
We got to watch that. Yeah. Chris Pine is very good in this movie. He does a
Blu-ray.
So I don't know a lot about Scottish accents, except that I know they're really hard. And it felt to me like Chris Pine did a great job with. Like, I was never like, this seems like a bad Scottish accent, but also
you never once thought like, hey, that kind of sounds like Spider-Man.
Spoilers, dog.
Not really. No, that's not a big. That's not a big.
No, it's fine. I never was like, that's Captain Kirk. No, nothing like that. Yeah, Chris Pine is really good in this movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson is awesome. So Aaron Taylor Johnson's performance isn't great because he's like got a lot of depth to his character, and the performance is really pulling a lot out of him. But he does this thing. So his character is crazy. He's wild looking. He has this huge beard and crazy hair, and his whole shtick is that it's this fantasy trope and this old Middle Ages trope of someone who has so much pride in their family name that when they go into fights, when they go into battle, they just fucking yell the name. He spends half this movie just doing crazy fighting and going, Douglas! Douglas! It's awesome. I love it so much. His character is crazy. But the thing for me to get across for this film, get ready for the Florence Pugh train. Get on the train while you can.
Yeah.
Get on the Florence Pugh train while you still can. Because pretty
That's
soon...
not even a bandwagon.
Pretty soon the train's going to be gone and it's going to become a bandwagon. And then you're a loser. I'm on the train. Get on the train. Florence Pugh is the lead actor. She plays Elizabeth in this movie. She was in Lady Macbeth. She was the lead in Lady Macbeth. She got a lot of critical acclaim for that role.
Okay.
She's in the upcoming Fighting With My Family movie the movie about like loosely based off The Rock's life,
Right.
that The Rock is also in, where she plays a wannabe professional wrestler and her brother as well.
Oh, okay.
That's her.
Okay.
She looks completely different in this movie. She also, this is when so that's going to come out and it's going to be like, oh, she's in a movie with The Rock. People are going to learn who she is.
Mm-hmm.
Then she is in, alongside Emma Watson, Saoirse Ronan, and Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah.
Greta Gerwig's next movie, Little Woman.
Little Women.
Little Women.
Okay.
Yeah, she's one of the sisters with Emma Watson and Saoirse Ronan and someone else that I don't know.
Right.
That's when it's gonna blow up. I'm predicting that as well.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh finna explode.
Yeah.
Not physically, but culturally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get on the train.
Florence Pugh.
Pugh. She's dope. She also sings and plays instruments
Cool.
and is British. A lot of check boxes.
For you?
Yeah.
What do you?
Those are
that's
things
your
I
thing?
like. Those
That's
are
your
things
thing?
I like.
She was also into photography. That would also be.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool. Let's see. We got
wore scarves.
beanies. It's beanies.
Okay,
Winter
like,
beanies, dog.
Like the big old beanies.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Kevin Hart.
All right. What's up with Kevin Hart?
You didn't hear about any of this?
Maybe. I don't know.
So the Oscars were having a very hard time
Okay.
getting a host.
Mm-hmm.
They finally settled on Kevin Hart.
Right.
The next day, somebody was like, here's some tweets from like 5 to 10 years ago of Kevin Hart making, bad jokes, essentially. And the Oscars were like, yep, we're not using Kevin Hart. Or no, that's not
He
what
stepped
happened.
down.
Kevin Hart stepped down. Mm-hmm. He was like, yeah, I'm not taking this bullshit.
Yeah, he stepped down. Yeah. Well, I didn't read the tweets.
I didn't either.
So what if they are
No, so the
actually
vibe
bad?
that I got basically essentially is that they were just bad jokes.
Yeah.
He made bad jokes about his son being gay, where he was like, if my kid was gay, I'd do something stupid.
Oh, okay. So like what Tracy Morgan did. That's like
Exactly
basically
like what Tracy Morgan did. Exactly like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about this a little bit with James Gunn when he got fired from Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a little bit different. And the biggest difference is that Kevin Hart is a professional comedian. Mm-hmm. It's literally his job to make jokes.
Mm-hmm. And at what, like, and where is your line? Like, where's your line? Where's your line as a production company? Where's your line as an individual in order to evaluate someone's morality? And is a Twitter, like, is it supposed to be reflecting someone's thoughts, or is it just another mouthpiece for a comedian? Is it another platform for them to tell
Have you ever
jokes?
looked at Chris D'Elia's Twitter?
Yeah.
It's a mouthpiece, dude.
Uh-huh.
He's on there flirting with Tekashi 6ix9ine. That's not real. It's a joke.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
Yeah. But I think
Like, just because Kevin Hart made jokes that, one, aren't funny, and two, are, kind of, if they're tasteless or that's, comedians do that. It's part of the job.
yeah.
Part of the job is pushing back. Like, I don't want to come across as the person that's like, calling people, being like safe spaces are, stupid, or, don't, everyone's offended all the time. But it's kind of true.
Right.
The level of people getting offended and it affecting people's lives and things that it shouldn't affect. Mm-hmm. And I think probably the majority of people would not have cared if Kevin Hart hosted.
But there's a lot of people who will proactively be assholes and try to justify those behaviors by saying like, "Oh, well, you're just too sensitive."
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're just a dick.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a certain, especially in the fucking stand-up comedy world and the comedians who are just like, well, that's fine. That's kind of my shtick, is to be an asshole.
Be an asshole.
Like fucking Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Well, Bill Maher, like if you call them an asshole, he'd be like, hey,
Yeah.
I've gotten that before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have to read the tweets themselves. But like fucking one thing that that Trump has brought about, right, is just the lack of nuance. I would say it's like a trickle down effect of Trump's own the way that
America.
he thinks. Well, just the fact that he is so very like
Abrasive.
well, not just abrasive, but dividing and polarizing.
Yeah.
Legit polarizing. Like he the best thing that he has done, the most drastic thing that he has done, has split the world in two, right?
The thing he's been most effective at.
The thing that he's been most effective at. That's why I didn't say. I didn't want to say
best was wrong. Yeah,
best was wrong. The thing he's been, his greatest, I don't know, fucking tool, is being able to split mankind into two sections, but it comes from his own mentality. Everything is either, oh, it's great, or it's terrible. It's terrible.
You need more. You need more lips when you do that.
It's terrible.
There you go.
That's a little better. Okay. But it comes from his own thinking. He literally reacts to everything. Everything that he talks about is either that good or it's bad. He doesn't face anything with
nuance.
There's no nuance. And I think that's something that's lacking in the world. People are lacking nuance when
everything
it comes to
has
their
to be the worst or the best, or good or evil.
Yeah. Or
right or wrong.
Or in just contextualizing things as well. You know, like being able to recognize the context of a certain situation. Okay.
Yeah.
This person, they are using their Twitter this way and they're telling a joke.
Wait.
Should I be
used? Told, has since apologized, moved on. Like, this was something he'd already dealt with.
And like I think the problem is that the problem with being overly offended, the problem with being without recognizing context and nuance is that it undermines its own agenda.
The agenda.
Right?
Being offended at Kevin Hart for making bad jokes about being gay, his son being gay, undermines the agenda of trying to empower homosexuals, people, or the LGBTQ plus community. Like being overreactive to everything hurts the overall goal.
Yeah. Have they picked who is going to host?
They're talking about not even using one.
About not.
They were like, maybe we just won't even use a host.
Well, that'll be like the first time ever, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Not having a host, because they had multiple hosts before.
Yeah. James Franco. Hathaway. Shout out. The worst Oscars ever. It's also this weird thing, like the Oscars have been declining in ratings and
viewership.
Yeah, viewership ratings and like respect kind of for the last like 4 or 5 years. Like people are just kind of like, the Oscars are a joke. Like it means less and less every year. I'm not talking about winning the award. Winning the award still means a lot to people, but the host of the Oscars thing, like it used to be really like a sought after thing, and then Billy Crystal did it forever, and now it's like I read an article about it, like the what they expect from their host versus what people expect versus the reward of doing it is so opposite. Like they don't get anything for it. It's like weeks of work in preparation for very little comparable money to the normal work that you do in Hollywood. And then the expectations that are set for you and the eggshells you have to walk on. Right. It's just not worth it to everyone. It's like being president. Why would you want to be president?
Yeah.
Why would you want to host the Oscars? It sucks.
Yeah. But it's also like the people that are usually the best at it, you know, the stand-up comedians, the Billy Crystals, the Chris Rocks of the world that can do a really good job at this.
They're handcuffed.
They're handcuffed, and they're the exact type of people who are gonna be like, I'm not gonna fucking do that.
Yeah,
shit.
They're not gonna want to do it.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people pushing for Key and Peele, which I think that'd be really cool.
That'd be fucking
Key and Peele would be awesome. But would they do it? Because you also have to think about it. There's this weird. It's shitty that this exists, but it's real. And there's this political setting to the Oscars. If Jordan Peele hosts the Oscars and offends the Academy in any way, does he hurt his future chances at awards for his stuff that he works on?
Right.
Because his next movie's coming out next year, and based on Get Out, it's probably going to be really good and potentially up for stuff like that.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's
shitty that that's something that he even has to consider.
Well, it's the dumbest part of the Oscars, and why a majority of normal people fucking scoff at it.
Yeah,
like okay, fucking actors and actresses and people that are involved with the entertainment.
Everyone, it's all these
that make millions of dollars every year. Whatever.
It's all these elitists patting themselves on the back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's very masturbatory.
Yeah.
But at the same time, so we
love the Oscars.
So I love the Oscars for a certain reason. You know, like I mean, the reason I love the Oscars is because it's a list of good movies to watch.
Yeah.
That is its greatest thing for like every year around this time frame, December, January, February.
You're going to get like at least 20 movies.
There's going to be a lot of movies that come out that I would have never heard before, especially like weird shit, documentary shorts, animated shorts that I would have never heard about if it weren't for the Oscars. And that first, because the way that the Oscars work is that like everybody in their respective genre, right? They vote on who are the nominees, right? So the nominees that's like the best thing that you can get, right? Is like you have people.
Yeah, I've always felt
you have
like
screenwriters who are saying these are the best written movies this year, and you have fucking people who make animated shorts who be like, these are the fucking best animated shorts that we saw this year. That in itself is an incredible.
I've always
service.
felt like being nominated almost means more than winning, in terms of like the moral victory of it, because the winner is a political race.
Yeah,
it's
and
about
anyone can vote on.
It's about weird. Like bribery is a weird word to use, but it's kind of like weird bribery things and favors and who's appealing to the right groups. It's just it stops being about the quality and it starts being about the push, and that's where it loses its sense for me. But you're right. The list of nominees is important, and I think that's that's what I like. About
it's just an incredible resource.
I don't care who's hosting. I'm gonna watch the Oscars this year just to watch Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga sing "Shallow."
Yeah,
that's why I want to be there. I know that's going to happen, and I want to watch it.
Right.
But yeah, the Kevin Hart thing, it was just so stupid to me. Just like we need to stop punishing people for mistakes they've made in the past that they've addressed, taken hold of, been like, yes, I did this, I apologize, and then made steps to be better. And I think that if we can go around if you can go look at anyone from 10 years ago, no one's gonna be able to do anything.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think
like everybody's gonna make mistakes, and
everybody's gonna have those days.
Like not letting people move past their mistakes and better themselves is a cultural flaw to have.
I think that the first thing that you have to do, if you're the type of person who is constantly, trying to find the faults in others, that you have to look at your own flaws. So I'm going to bring up a tweet that is probably like, I might get roasted for this right now, right? But Chrissy Teigen a few months ago tweeted about the N-word.
John Legend's wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
She tweeted about the N-word. And the intention of it, I enjoy. It's very progressive. But she was talking about how, you, as a white person or someone who isn't of color, that you shouldn't be offended of people that are trying to tell you you can't say the N-word, right? Like she's like, I've lived however many years and I've never said the N-word.
Is Chrissy Teigen white?
I'm not really sure. I think that she has some Asian descent.
Okay, gotcha.
But I'm not positive on that. But that intention is what she was trying to get across, right? And then the last bit in the tweet, I was like, oh, okay, you're full of shit. So she says, I've never said the N-word.
Oh, okay.
I don't sing it in a song. I don't, and that's fine. And she was like, at the third thing was, I've never even thought it.
It never just crept in there. Like it just never.
Wait, hold on.
In and out real quick.
You've heard the. So N-word.
While you wrote that,
you can't know what the N-word is unless you've heard the N-word.
While you thought the tweet, you didn't even think about the word.
So I never even thought about what But my point that I'm trying to get across is that it doesn't fucking matter if you think about the N-word.
Yeah.
The issue is if you think that another race is below you, right?
Yeah.
And if you're labeling them as such, and if you are not respecting them enough to not use that word.
Yeah. If they as a group of people, if it's it's a similar thing to the Washington Redskins. Like to me, it's like I didn't know it was offensive growing up, but when the whole community comes out and is like, hey, we don't appreciate you using that word, it's, people use that derogatorily to us.
Right.
We would appreciate it if you change the name, and people are like, tradition, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
you're being soft, whatever. It's like,
And it's really surprising that,
if a whole group of people are going to come together and agree that something makes them feel bad.
and it's really surprising that the NFL isn't very progressive when addressing an issue like that. You know?
Yeah. Surprising that the NFL.
What did Scott Van Pelt label the NFL? He said
No Fun League?
No. He used a phrase. He said the perpetually tone deaf NFL.
Yo, Scott Van Pelt going in. He's great. Go Scott Van Pelt. Yeah, it's a similar thing.
But that idea that I was trying to get across with the Chrissy Teigen thing was it's an idea that like I think that a lot of people are getting caught up in when they're trying to be social justice warriors, and I don't mean that to be like a knock. A knock. A lot of people use that as a buzzword.
Yeah.
To you're a social justice
I hate that. I hate how things become buzzwords.
It's very
and they have negative connotation.
Yeah, exactly. Like the term snowflake.
Yeah. Literally Donald Trump's name.
Yeah.
Like, depending on who you're around, you're either going to incite rage or joy just by saying his name.
But the idea of, no, I'm pure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's virtue signaling. That's what she was doing. And it undermines what she was trying to do. It undermines the fact that like she, was trying to get across that like, hey, fucking like you're offending people.
Yeah.
And
stop.
you shouldn't use this word. It's easy to not use the word.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing. It's like, why are you gonna? It's if you're one of those people that's like, why can't I use the word? Why can't I say it? Huh? What's wrong with that? It's like, what are you trying to prove, man? Like, what's your deal?
Well, I've come across those a lot of those white people,
Yeah.
right, who believe it's not that I've come across people who I don't think that are racist. I wouldn't label them as such, but they will bring across the argument that like, oh well, if black people can use it with each other, then I should be able to use it, which I disagree with that.
Yeah.
But there's a problem in trying to play the like that transitive property, and if saying that like, well, if this group can you like if we just do the inverse of this, and that inverse is offensive, like that's fucked up. Well, like no, because it's two different groups.
It's
different
situations
histories.
entirely. Yeah, that's just foolish.
And like you're applying a different context so you can't completely play that game.
Yeah.
Like it's
and there's also like the weird, it's like we have friends who use it like liberally. They just say it, and it's like we know they're not racist, and they don't even mean it. They just use it like a colloquialism? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, it's something you throw on at the end of a sentence for no reason.
Yeah.
And it's part of it's like because hip hop culture has grown and expanded to be so big that people feel like it applies to them even when it doesn't, which is weird.
Yeah. I don't think that white people should use that word.
No, they shouldn't.
It's
just don't. Like, what do you?
Yeah.
Just don't. Don't worry about it. Like, calm down. It's fine. Make up your own word for yourself. I don't.
Like what?
I don't know.
I'm gonna start calling you Peaches.
I'll call you Cream.
That's weird.
Peaches and Cream.
Yeah, we're definitely not doing that.
Episode
I'm instantly backpedaling on that
Episode
one.
title: Peaches and Cream.
Oh god.
You want to talk about some basketball, dude?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so some shit happened last night.
You want to go in reverse chronological order?
Let's do that.
Okay.
So right now it is December 15th, Saturday, December 15th when we're recording this.
Yep. As of this morning.
Sorry to break that to you, but we record these before we release them.
As of this morning, the trade has happened.
Yes. Okay. We're going to talk about the Trevor Ariza trade.
Trevor Ariza.
Which people have known this trade is going to...
Trevor Ariza, whose corpse is on the Phoenix Suns, was on the Phoenix Suns.
The shell of
Trevor Ariza.
Okay, so Trevor Ariza, for those that don't know who Trevor Ariza is, he's a
swing forward, really good defender, 3-point. He's a 3-and-D. He's like a prime
quintessential role player 3-and-D.
He was on the Rockets last year.
Has a lot of experience, was on the Rockets last year, and could potentially be like an incredible piece for
to
a
contending
championship team.
Yeah.
But
The thing that
in this
pushes you over the
offseason,
top.
so he was on the Rockets before, and this season, in the offseason, he signed with the Phoenix Suns.
He wanted that $15 million.
Because, yeah, he said, give me that $15
Give me that
million,
$15 million or I'm gonna quit.
So he signed with the Phoenix Suns, who are a shitty team.
They're horrible.
They are the worst team
They're so
in
bad.
the league.
Poor Devin Booker.
Yeah, they're just straight up awful, and also like their timeline doesn't match up.
No, he's
with
33.
Trevor Ariza.
Their
at all.
timeline is when Devin Booker's 33. at this rate.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe then they'll make the
Yeah,
playoffs.
maybe then.
If he's still on the Suns by then.
Oh, he gone.
Yeah. So Trevor Ariza
This
has
morning.
been talked about throughout the entire season because he's
It's
not
one of those
even
things-
trying on the Suns.
Everyone knew he signed there for the money and that they were either going to trade him or buy him out by the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Because they don't care about winning, and he does, but he wanted that money.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's not just it's just not a fit.
Yeah.
But B, he's not even fucking trying for the Suns.
No.
So the Suns are like, well, why are we even going to have him?
Yeah. Plus, they can get assets for him.
Exactly. Yeah, he's a good piece for them to trade.
Yep.
But
So
last night-
the official trade went through this morning, and the official trade ended up being Trevor Ariza from the Suns to the Wizards for Kelly Oubre Jr. and Austin Rivers.
okay,
That's done. But the real story,
I wouldn't. I mean, it's all part of the story.
Yeah,
to
but
me,
the
really.
beat-
I think it's all inclusive.
the meat, the Brooks saga,
Okay. The wackest shit happened last night. So right now it's
the
December
war of
15th.
the war of the Brookses.
December 15th is important in the NBA season because it is the first day that a free agent that was signed in the offseason can actually be tradable.
Yep.
So everybody's been looking forward to this day as the day that Trevor Ariza is
We're all
going to
about
be
that
signed,
action,
or
boss.
going to be traded. So
And maybe Jabbar
last
Parker.
night there was a Woj bomb. Adrian Wojnarowski,
You got
Hey,
it. Woj.
Woj, who is the ESPN senior NBA insider, tweeted about a potential trade between the Suns, the Grizzlies, and the Wizards, and sending Trevor Ariza to the Wizards and
Kelly Oubre to the Grizzlies.
to the Grizzlies.
Austin Rivers to the Suns. And here's the kicker. 2 role players from Memphis going to the Suns as well. One of whom was Wayne Selden Jr. and the other...
Austin Rivers wasn't in that original trade.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I think he was.
Was he?
I think
Okay.
so. I might be wrong.
I thought he wasn't.
Oh, maybe not. No, I think you're right. Okay, yeah. So Wayne Selden Jr. going to the Suns and a Brooks. Someone named something Brooks going to the Suns. Now here's the kicker.
And several second-rate picks were
going around, yeah. It was a very
second round.
convoluted trade, but there are 2 players on the Memphis Grizzlies with the last name Brooks. One is Dylan Brooks, one is Marshawn Brooks. They play similar positions, but one is way older.
Right. One is 29 years old. One is 21.
21 on his rookie contract, playing well. Grizzlies fans really like him.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously a much better asset than the elder,
Marshall.
maybe less talented Marshawn. The Suns thought they were getting Dylan Brooks. The Grizzlies never talked to the Suns. They worked through the Wizards to get this deal done. The Grizzlies thought they were trading Marshawn Brooks.
Because they will not trade Dylan.
They will not trade Dylan Brooks as part of the deal. So the deal was announced. The reports were coming in of everything that was happening, and then Woj dropped another bomb, and he was like, "Oh wait, there's miscommunication about which Brooks is
involved
part
with
of
the
the
deal."
trade."
And the funniest part about it is that these 3 franchises, I mean, at least the 2 of them, the Wizards and the Suns, are 2 of the most poorly
They're
managed
dysfunctional.
teams. Yeah.
They have crap owners. Oh man, it's questionable front offices. I mean, it's just hysterical.
I think the Grizzlies shouldn't be thrown in.
No,
with,
certainly
with
not.
those, but because they tanked last year. But
Well, because
what else
of
are you going to do?
injuries. Yeah.
But what else? Well,
Yeah.
that was the best thing for
And they
them
did
to
a good
do.
job of it. They got Jaren Jackson Jr.
And you get Jaren Jackson Jr.,
Yeah.
which they fucking played that really, I
Yeah.
would say really well. So
Yeah.
anybody that says like, oh, these are 3 of the worst front offices in the league, I'm
No.
like, okay, chill out here. Because the Grizzlies should not be thrown
show
in.
some respect for the grit and grind.
Yeah.
Now, we all know about this nonsense that's been going on in Washington with the Wizards, and
They've gone through a lot of
they're
drama.
just dysfunctional. Yeah, there's a lot of drama between
have-
on that team.
So not only the conflicts.
And then on
between-
top of that, this week also had Suns drama with Robert Sarver threatening to move the team to either Seattle or Las Vegas.
So this could branch off into a lot of different
Yeah,
things.
there's a lot going on here.
We'll talk about the Wizards first, right? I usually talk about the Grizzlies first because that's actually the shortest amount of time. We're not going to
shortest
spend
amount on the Grizzlies.
because the Grizzlies are playing really well this year.
Yeah.
and they
16 and
wanted
12 right now.
and they could use another like young wing, especially like someone
Kelly
who
Oubre would have fit really well.
yeah, he would have been a decent role player.
He
for
could have
them.
started for them.
Potentially,
Yeah.
yeah. But even if he doesn't, he's going to get a really
Yeah,
good
he's gonna
minutes.
play a lot of minutes.
And that's someone who is not only going to aid in what you're doing right now, but he could
young.
grow with someone like
And
Jaren
they get
Jackson
him.
Jr.
They get him right before his restricted free agency. They
So-
get his bird rights. They can pay him. Whatever.
So when that first trade was announced, I was like, that's a good trade because I like Kelly Oubre.
No matter what you think about Kelly Oubre and his personality and his production so far in Washington, he has talent at the very least. I'm not a huge Kelly Oubre fan, but he has talent.
Yeah, right. So it was a good trade for the Grizzlies.
Also happened during the game, like the Heat. We were watching the Heat play the Grizzlies, and that trade was. It was like they're working while they're working.
Right. So we'll move on from that.
Let's go to Washington.
The Wizards. The Wizards have gone through a lot of
Drama.
drama recently. For a while now, a lot of people like have speculated on the
Can you win with John Wall?
can you win with John Wall, but also the locker room dissonance
Yeah.
between him and Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
Because they don't really get along with each other.
Yeah.
And they are probably the most elite backcourt in the NBA that aren't. I would say that aren't they don't gel together.
Yeah,
as well
because like
as the
Damian Lillard
other-
and CJ McCollum gel, Clay and Steph gel.
Just Clay and Steph gel, like they're friends. They can get along with each other. Originally, when it was DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry,
Best friends.
yeah, best friends.
friends.
And a lot of people speculated that like, why aren't they getting along? You know what? And people are trying to,
Figure out what's wrong there.
diagnose what's wrong with the Wizards because they've sort of underperformed.
Yeah.
In
Based on their talent.
yeah, because when you look at their roster, they should be doing a lot better than what they are.
Now they picked it up a little bit in the last like month. They started winning more games.
This year has been very bad.
Yeah.
Because the Wizards start off just awful. One of the worst teams in the league.
They started off really poorly.
And the front office came out and said that literally everyone on the
They were like,
roster
anyone's available. Yeah.
anyone's available. Like John Wall, who
Multiple
going to
time
be-
All-Star, one of the best passers in the league, one of the most explosive,
He's an elite
and
point guard.
fastest players in the league. He's an elite point guard.
He's an elite point guard.
But the knock on him now is he's selfish, which is that the idea of selfish assists is so funny to me.
Right.
People say that him and Russell Westbrook both do. They selfishly get assists is so funny to me.
but when you're trying to evaluate selfishness, like you can't just look at assists.
No,
Like,
I understand. I'm just saying that
right.
thing is funny to me.
Because I mean, one thing that John Wall does not do is he does not move without the ball.
Dude, at all.
Which someone with his type of athletic talent and someone who's been in
He
the
could
league for
kill
so long,
people if he cut.
you know that he has a high basketball IQ and someone that can influence the game. And how much is he leaving on the table by just going into the corner and standing,
Especially because he's not a
with
good
his hands on
three-point
his
shooter.
Yeah, exactly.
If he was an elite 3-point shooter, that would be a threat.
But the thing is, even elite 3-point shooters, like you've seen, like
who moves more than anybody? Steph Curry,
Steph Curry and Klay Thompson move like
JJ
crazy.
Redick.
Yeah,
These kinds of elite 3-point shooters that move.
and that's one of the greatest things about what the Warriors have done is like they're so selfless. You know, the fact that Steph
They love
Curry,
each other.
Steph Curry
Except maybe
plays.
KD and Dre.
Steph Curry plays like JJ Redick
Yeah.
off the ball. You know, he's someone who is just as dangerous, if not more.
Yeah.
But can also shoot off the dribble and can develop his own shots when he has the ball. And that's one of the reasons why they're so dangerous, right? And John Wall, someone who
He can't shoot like that.
he can't shoot like that. Like,
But
you're limiting your
with his
options
level
and you're-
of athleticism, he should be able to kill defenses with backdoor cuts and slashing.
someone like DeMar DeRozan would be a good
or
example.
Russell Westbrook does it too.
Right. Yeah. But and one of the key differences between Russell and John Wall, because a lot of people
the narrative could claim they're similar, but if you listen to teammates, they adore Russell
and a lot of
Westbrook.
people criticize Russell Westbrook for stat hunting.
Yeah,
right?
and he does take a lot of shots he shouldn't. Right. He's a gunner, and like people question his basketball IQ in terms of his shot selection, but you cannot knock him for effort.
No, he's one of the hardest working players in the league. So you have all of that on the Wizards.
Well, and I thought, a weird thing about this for the Wizards is you mentioned them putting everyone up for grabs. Trading for Trevor Ariza is we're trying to win move.
Yeah.
I was so surprised that it was the Wizards who ended up making that call.
Exactly.
It's
bizarre.
Weird. It's weird.
Bizarre.
Yeah. Also, will he start for them?
So not only has that happened, but the Wizards brought in Dwight Howard,
who hasn't. He's barely played.
Because
of his butt.
But a lot of people are like, oh, well, like that's how you're going to try and solve your locker room is by
bringing in someone who is constantly.
But he's also someone who's had some off the court issues this year.
Yeah.
There was this huge story that came out of.
This was weird.
Yeah, it was very weird. And it's one of the reasons why it caught fire.
And we don't know how much of it's true or anything.
I don't think that is true. If I had to, I don't think,
because it's not a credible source.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this person came out, this trans woman came out and said that her and Dwight Howard had a relationship and that she was being stalked by Dwight Howard and threatened. And a lot of people, the internet's instant reaction was like, "Oh, Dwight's gay," yada yada, right? Which shouldn't be your reaction.
No.
The problem here is that he could be
stalking someone.
Whether they are a woman or a trans woman,
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you know, like the problem here, the moral question, it should be: is Dwight Howard a good person because he could be potentially stalking someone?
Yeah.
Now the problem here is that the person that reported it, this trans woman, is someone who is known for trying to get clout and has literally accused other people. There's I forgot the rapper that she accused, but she accused a rapper of the exact same thing, and she was friends with this rapper's girlfriend. And the rapper's girlfriend came out and said, yeah, she's lying.
It's not true.
It's not true. All she's trying to do is get clout.
Yep.
When you go to this person's Twitter account, I think she has a book out right now. It's called like Industry Ho.
Yo, jump on that money while you can.
But that's what she's trying to go for. If I had to put money on it, I mean, it could be true that Dwight Howard could be stalking this woman, and she might be absolutely telling the truth. And just because there are precedent for her lying in the past doesn't mean that she is lying about this thing.
But
right,
the boy who cried wolf is a story for a reason.
Yeah. But I don't think I.
But yeah, this is speaking to is that the amount of stuff going on with the Wizards
other thing is
year.
that like there is proof out there that she has been stalked by Dwight Howard and has had a relationship with him, right? But she put out a screenshot video, right? A screen grab of her phone going into Instagram and her direct messages from Dwight Howard's Instagram account. Dwight Howard's direct Instagram account, right? And the screen grab, when she goes into the messages, when she's scrolling through the messages, either the incoming bubbles or the outgoing bubbles, they don't have the bubbles around them. It looks
so it's like doctored?
Yeah, it looks doctored. When you go into your Instagram account on any device, you can see that there's bubbles around every text that you send. And in this screen grab, it didn't.
That's really weird.
And when she tries to go and click onto Dwight Howard's professional account, right, it glitches out. You see that when during the screen grab, as the person's scrolling down, it glitches out, and then it like you can see like there's I don't know how to describe it, but it's fucking glitchy and it's fishy, and I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I just don't buy it.
That's weird.
So the Wizards have had that.
The Wizards have been going through a lot.
All right, so the Wizards have been going through a lot.
Now to the Suns. This week, their owner threatened to move them if the community does not pay for a stadium or a stadium upgrade. Threatened to move to Seattle or to Las Vegas.
Is this the same thing that kind of happened with the Chargers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the exact same. Dean Spanos didn't want to build a new stadium.
Right.
Yep.
Now, okay. A lot of people have been
and it's happening to the Raiders too.
A lot of people have been. I don't really know anything about Robert Sarver. I don't.
A lot of people hate him. I know that.
A lot of people hate him. A lot of people say that he's an asshole.
Yeah.
A lot of Phoenix Suns say fuck Robert Sarver. Right. So, I don't understand the. I don't understand the hate for the most part because okay, if I'm an owner, right, and I want to build a stadium, are other cities being like, hey, we'll use our taxes to pay for your stadium? Are other cities doing that?
It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, owners put up at least most of the money.
But okay, so this is me being a devil's advocate for Robert Sarver or whatever's going on. I admit that I am not as informed about Robert Sarver and why people hate him as much, right? But if I'm an owner of an NBA team, right, and I have the choice of either using my own money to build an arena in my the city that it's already existing in, right? Or another city like a Seattle, right? Seattle will come out and say, hey, we'll use our tax dollars to actually help you build this, whatever it's 50%, 100%, whatever it is, right? You won't have to use 100% of your money to build a new stadium, which is fucking billions of dollars that you will have to invest. I mean, I understand why someone would choose to go to Seattle or a different city that may potentially put up a capital for building your stadium.
He's from Arizona.
He is? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Where's your love for the city, dog?
Okay. But
where's the problem with it is obviously financially it makes complete sense, but where's your dedication to the community? Where's your dedication to the fans? Where's your dedication to the players and where they've put down roots and all of these things? And, you can talk the whole time you're there about how much the community matters to you and all these things. And then the second it becomes financially the wrong decision, you up and leave. That's like the most monopoly monocled evil businessman move.
Is that evil? This man, like if you're, I don't know anything about Robert Sarver aside from this, right? So I don't know if there is other precedent for him being.
And it's also, it's not like he reaches in his pocket. You use the money that the team has made, the revenue from the team, which is your revenue because you own it. So it's your money, but it's also the team's money.
But like from a businessman's sense, like you never invest with your own money, right?
Yeah, sure.
Right.
But
so I don't see that as evil. I don't like that specific instance. Now, I don't know what else is on the table here. Was it the mayor, that old lady that called out?
No, she's not the mayor.
Sarver?
That was it was like a community event.
So it was like a civilian.
But that lady went hard.
Yeah.
What is her name? Greta?
I want to know why else the people of Phoenix are,
because it's not normal for communities to pay for these things.
Right.
Owners try to make it happen, and then often there was a vote in Miami to get the stadium renovated, right? And the community was like, "Yeah, we're not paying for that because that's what your taxes have to go towards."
If you have, so say if he was like, "Well,
I'm talking about the Dolphins, not the Heat."
Okay,
yeah,
but if Seattle is offering something like that,
I don't know if they are.
I don't think they are.
I don't think
I'm not sure. I'm saying if this is the way that it is. So if there is an option for him to go to a place,
no, yeah, I understand
where
what you're
people
saying.
are going to,
I get that.
I don't see that as evil.
But I also I don't. One of the poisons of the world to me is making things just because it saves you money, making decisions because it saves you money. And I'm not saying morally that this is on the same level as, developing drugs that hurt people or something because you save money, or it's a different level of morality. But it's just the mentality of bottom lining, I hate.
Okay, but you have to recognize. All right, so I'm going to bring up this example, right? And you're going to think this is going to be a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a stretch. What we are doing right now
Mm-hmm.
is the same thing as what Robert Sarver moving. We moved across the country from our friends and family that love us, right?
Yeah.
Who could potentially be spending time with us.
Mm-hmm.
That is, would you would say a net negative, right, for our friends and family, correct?
Okay.
Right? We are taking something away from them. We're taking away our presence in their lives, right?
I mean, for you,
our
that's a positive, but roasted.
I'm an asshole. That's the joke. Which I'm only proving with this point. But that is a net negative for our friends and family's lives, correct?
Sure.
Because
yeah. We're not
because
there.
we're trying to achieve our own dreams.
Yeah.
Right. Now, what Robert Sarver, right, wants to do is his most important thing, right, is making money, right? That is his passion, right? He is pursuing his passion.
Sure.
Right. We don't care about his money.
He doesn't have
we care
enough.
about we care about creation, but that is our passion.
Okay.
Right. And it could negatively have negative fallout.
Sure.
I don't see what we're doing as evil. I don't see
No.
now.
But it also
what
aligns in
Robert-
more of expectations of life and people. You grow up and you move away and you pursue what you want. That's different. Like the expectation of an NBA franchise isn't that. Especially
so you
because
say
part
because
of
it is
being,
because it is an entire community.
it's a
or
community,
because it's not an
and
individual.
because like the idea of all sports teams do this. The idea of we're going to put down our roots in the community and we're going to be here for the people, and that's all talk. And that's you're going to say that and say that and say that until it's time to leave because you have to pay for something.
Right.
Is it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, plus on top of that, on top of any personal and individual and communal things, Phoenix is an NBA staple. They've been around. There have been great Phoenix teams, the Steve Nash Phoenix teams, the Mike D'Antoni Phoenix teams,
Right.
Charles Barkley Phoenix teams. It's a staple of the NBA, and it's just part of the cultural landscape of the league. I think that if he tried to leave, the league might try to stop him.
Really?
I think maybe. Yeah. As much as I want the NBA back in Seattle, as awesome as I think it would be to bring back the Supersonics, that's not. What's the?
That's not how you want it.
This ain't it, Chief.
Right. So, is the only way for that to be?
Is it expansion?
Is it an expansion?
I don't know if that's
Because in
necessarily
any- because that's
sometimes there are
any
situations where teams and communities have falling out. Like the Raiders right now are having a huge fallout with Oakland. They're moving to Las Vegas in 2020. They had a lease with the Raiders Stadium through 2019, but the 2019 was an option year. And just last week, Oakland was like, "Get out of here. We don't want you next year."
The actual city
Yeah.
said that they didn't want
Yeah.
the Raiders anymore.
Yeah,
Why?
they pulled the lease because they're leaving. And they suck.
Because the Raiders
They're
Raiders
leaving
organization
to Las
already
Vegas.
announced.
They're already moving to Las Vegas.
But they
in
already
2020.
announced, like, hey, we're moving to Las
That all
Vegas.
happened last
and they were
year.
like, well,
I'm pretty sure they're
building.
building a stadium in Las Vegas for them.
Like, we don't want you anyways. I don't know. That's just kind of.
And again, neither of us know enough about the details of these kinds of things and how it works with taxes and how it works with how much ownership pays for these kinds of things. I don't know. But I would say part of being a business owner, you own an NBA team, you are a business owner. Part of doing that is having a working space for your business. Aren't you responsible for that? It just so happens that when you own a sports franchise, that the working space is really expensive. But you made the decision and choice to get into that business.
Sure. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with
You
that.
have billions of dollars, dude. Just pay for it.
Now, I'm not saying that in any sense. I'm not saying that the city should be paying for an arena. I don't agree with that. Yeah. But if a city is willing
to, you understand why they would move. I get that. I get it. My favorite thing about this whole saga has been the low hanging fruit joke of, well, if you want to move a team to Seattle, why don't you put a team in Phoenix first, dude? Because they're so bad. It's so funny. But yeah, like anyone involved with like Charles Barkley was talking major trash about him and the way he's run the organization. Like no one seems to have any respect for him.
Right. And that's the other thing is that like this might just be the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, has like I don't know. I'm not a Phoenix Suns fan, so I don't know. Like, is he just leaving? You know, like potential free agents on the table. You know, like is he not trying to get good? Is he trying to be mediocre on purpose?
Yeah. Like I mean, you're talking about bottom lining and counting pennies and saving money. Like, is he willing to field a horrible team every year because he stays under the luxury tax and he doesn't have to pay extra money?
Exactly.
That would suck.
Yeah.
That would be shitty.
Yeah.
But yeah, is that all the NBA drama or is there even more? Let me see. Oh, there is even more.
Can we talk about the actual trade that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The final trade. So the final trade is Trevor Ariza from the Suns to the Wizards, Austin Rivers and Kelly Oubre Jr. to the Suns.
All the shit that we just talked about, Robert Sarver, that's a really good trade. That's a fucking incredible trade.
Makes them, it makes them, here's the thing. Literally anyone would make them better. They suck.
The Suns suck. Suck.
Wait, they signed a point guard? That's better than what they have.
Right.
Like, it's not hard to make... Like, you got lucky enough to have the salary cap room to pay Trevor Ariza more money than anyone was willing to pay him, so you can then flip him for any piece that makes you better. I'm not going to be like...
But if you were doing a trade with Washington Wizards, the one person that you would be
Kelly
trying
Oubre.
to go at would be... No. I would say it would be Austin Rivers.
Yeah?
Because they need a point guard.
Oh, well, yeah. But here's the other thing. Like, the Suns are the tankiest of tankers.
Right.
They're tanking more than anyone has ever tanked.
Uh-huh.
They probably tank more than the process era Sixers.
Right.
This hurts them in that sense. They're going to be better.
They're going to be better, but they also got rid of, an old guy in order to get two potentially good
younger guys. And like they get like they might have to pay if they like this 6 months or whatever of Kelly Oubre Jr. They're going to have to pay him a lot of money. Because he's going to be restricted free agent, and the Nets or somebody are going to pay him if they don't. I don't think it really. I mean, to me, the Suns long term, they're just bad, dude. They're just bad. I think Devin Booker.
Suns long term.
I think Devin Booker's going to leave.
Okay.
I think Devin Booker's going to leave.
Really?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say the Suns long term are bad if Devin Booker stays.
Yeah, obviously, but like they took the big dude.
They have one of the best.
What's his name?
DeAndre Ayton?
Yeah, they took DeAndre Ayton, and he's getting... I mean, he's only a rookie, so all of this is, he's obviously going to get better, and he's going to be a good player, but he's already getting benched because he doesn't have effort on defense. Like, things that...
He's getting benched?
Yeah, he got benched like a couple weeks ago. They started Rashawn Holmes over him. It's just like... Those are things that shouldn't be a problem with a rookie, number one.
Right.
The effort on defense shouldn't be your problem.
Right.
Now he's an idiot on defense. Apparently, he has horrible defensive IQ.
Right.
That's something that you work on and you try to fix.
Right.
But effort should never be the problem with a 19, 20-year-old dude with all the physical gifts you can imagine.
Yeah.
And it's just like they busted on Dragon Bender. They might have busted on Josh Jackson. Marquise Chris is already gone. They fail on a lot of their they are a prime reason why you don't tank because it doesn't always work. I would argue that it usually doesn't work. You get, for every Sixers, you end up with, however many Suns and the Kings for the last 15 years before this year where they look like they might actually
be good. Or the Magic
be
for the past 8.
Or the Magic. Yeah, it's like tanking is no guarantee.
Right.
But, I mean, obviously they're better now. Mm-hmm. I think it's... in 2K,
and for every example of a tanking team that busts on draft picks, you have mediocre to good teams.
You have the Jazz drafting Donovan Mitchell.
Exactly. Jazz. I was going to bring up the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
Who are probably closer to tanking this year, even though they're not trying to tank.
Yeah. They're just, for whatever reason, they're shooting horribly.
Yeah.
But it's just, so the Trevor Ariza side, if you were on 2K and you were like, oh, we added Trevor Ariza to the Wizards, right? You're like, I'm going to win the finals on 2K.
Okay.
Because you have so many great players and you add a really good role player. But, like, is it even going to matter?
In real life. That they add Trevor Ariza?
Because the idea seems to...
I thought it was an anomalous. I was like,
yeah,
why?
Trevor Ariza is a good player, a very good role player, and what I think they hope is an influence in the locker room to help fix things, but how much is he going to do by himself? I mean, it seems like a top-down problem.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get why they would trade for Trevor Ariza.
So now, like, imagine they give this, 2 months until the trade deadline, and they're still not that good, and then they just start shipping everyone away, and they gave up their only young asset in Kelly Oubre Jr. to try to fix it. Mm-hmm. It's just like, what is their goal right now?
Right.
I don't even know.
Right.
It's weird. I think in the grand scheme, I think this trade, while fun and exciting and silly, is going to be kind of a leaf in the wind in the grand scheme.
It's uneventful.
It's uneventful.
Yeah, it's unimportant.
The weirdest thing about it is that there was no draft picks involved to me. I thought for sure the Suns would try to get a draft pick out of somebody for a reason.
That would make sense if they were going to go after draft picks. But if you're the Suns, and you're going to trade away Trevor Ariza, I think that is about as good as you.
Yeah, it's a solid return.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it'd be such a, like, if the Grizzlies traded for Austin Rivers and Kelly Oubre Jr., it'd be so much more effective than a team like the Suns doing it. You know what I mean? It's like a team that's actually good adding solid role players.
I understand that, but the Suns are. So do you think that it would have been better for the Suns to trade for picks?
Yeah,
it's impossible. Because
you have to have salary. I know that, but
so the only maybe if you fucking got Ian Mahinmi, but the Wizards still, like you said earlier, the Wizards don't have depth at 5.
Yeah.
So they need
they just need his body.
they need a body, even though he's way overpaid.
Yo, take Dragon Bender off the Suns' hands.
Huh?
Say we'll take Dragon Bender. It's not working.
Oh, okay.
We'll see if he works here,
and then get picks.
Yeah, something.
You
like
felt
that.
like that would be a better.
I feel like there's a better version of the trade. I'm not saying it. It's not a bad trade. It's just inconsequential to me.
Yeah, I thought the trade was perfectly fine. I thought it was a good trade for the Suns. I don't think that this changes anything.
No, it's not going to change.
I think
anything.
they're still going to be the worst team in the league.
Yeah,
but you got
especially
two young
because
players.
Austin Rivers is apparently playing horrible this year.
You got 2 young players, and if you look at that in a vacuum, that's a good trade.
There's one more. The NBA was popping off, and because I wasn't here last week, we weren't able to talk about the Bulls.
Okay, what do you want to talk about with
the
Bulls?
Chicago Bulls? Right before they got back their best player, Larry Legend, the finisher.
Mm-hmm. Larry Markkanen who's
the finisher, Finn, because he's from Finland. Right before he came back from injury, and right before they kind of got their full strength roster back, they fired their head coach, Fred Hoiberg. This highlighted a contentious 2.5-3 years of Garpax, who are the 2 front office guys for the Bulls, just not fielding a team. They hired Fred Hoiberg for his system, and then they never fielded a team to fit his system. Mm-hmm. Weird. The 1 year he had quality players, he made the playoffs and got bounced early. He had the Jimmy Butler, D Wade year. Mm-hmm. They made the playoffs. They weren't any good, but they made the playoffs, and that's something. Then they just started going full tank mode. They had garbage. But it's just crazy to me that right before the return of the full strength roster, you give Hoiberg a chance to see what he can do with this team and see how he can develop these players. They fire him for his assistant coach, Jim Boylan, who is known as a disciplinarian, hard-nosed guy, kind of like a Tom Thibodeau.
Right.
This all happened last week, and then on top of that, they get blown out by 56. I don't even remember who they were playing.
The Celtics.
The Celtics, that's right. And Jim Boylan is then like, yo, all of you come in for practice tomorrow for like a grueling practice session or something like that. Because they had already had practice sessions where he had them running suicides and was practicing them for like multiple hours longer than normal for an NBA team.
Okay, and this game that they lost by 56 points was also the second of a back-to-back.
Yeah, the second night of a back-to-back.
And the first game in that back-to-back, they beat the Thunder.
Yeah. And here's the crazy thing. The thing the players are like, oh, he's giving us these hard practices, whatever, we'll deal with it. Mm-hmm. then he did the thing that sort of triggered their resent is that he subbed out all 5 players at once, which seems like a sort of it's a small thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Platoon swapping.
Yeah, platoon swap. They went down like big early, and then he platoon swapped. It makes sense. You get it. But he did it like multiple times in that game, where he was just like he pulled out the whole squad and then like yelled at them, and he didn't treat them like adults.
Yeah.
Essentially. And then the kicker to the sort of media was after the game when they were like, "Can you talk about the platoon swapping and everything?" And he was like, "Well, Greg Popovich does it."
And he's been doing that constantly referencing Greg Popovich because he was an assistant under Greg Popovich.
Can I tell Jim Boylan something?
What?
You ain't Greg Popovich. How many rings you got, boy? What? Greg Popovich? What? Okay. I mean, like, you've been there for 3 days, homie. Mm-hmm. It's just crazy.
And it's his first head coaching
job.
Right?
Head coaching job. Yeah. What in the world? How can you, in a week, when they fired Fred Hoiberg and said they were promoting Jim Boylan, they were like, we want him to be the future coach. We're hopes that this year proves that he can be the coach next year. In a week, he lost the team. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, they're not going to fire him or anything because he's apparently their guy.
Right.
But how much more nonsense can go down until Garpax get fired? It's ridiculous. And now they've taken Jabari Parker out of who they signed this year as a free agent. Mm-hmm. Mr. I don't get paid to play defense, Jabari Parker, took him out of the rotation and are now looking to trade him. He's not even playing now. They were like, get him out. I feel like he can help somebody. I just don't know who.
Warriors.
The problem with him is he's like mellow light. It's that play style.
Yeah.
Like that was always his comparison. He was going to draft and stuff was to Carmelo Anthony, and it's like that play style has just people don't want it anymore on their teams. It's you can get buckets, you can get a lot, you can score a lot, but it just doesn't. It isn't conducive to winning. It's really interesting. Send me the Knicks.
Yeah, why not? Dude?
Why not?
Mm-hmm. Or the Nets. The Nets are the fucking.
See, the problem is the Nets are like a really fast-paced team, and he wouldn't fit that.
Is he? I mean, he's pretty athletic.
It's about play style. It's not about. He's a ball stopper.
In transition, you don't think
it's not just about transition, about ball movement, off ball movement, all that kind of stuff. The pace and pace style of play.
Okay.
He just doesn't fit it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he probably could if he looked inside himself and could change things about the way he plays basketball, but I don't know. But yeah, the Bulls went bananas, and it was funny. And yeah, they're another one. They're just bad.
Jabari Parker was like somebody that like last year, like that thing that I kind of have with Markelle Fultz.
Because he got hurt so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he had 2 surgeries.
2 ACL tears.
Yeah. And like when he was playing on the Bucks, when he came back last season, like for the Bucks, I was really excited.
Yeah.
I was like, man, like fucking maybe Jabari can, play this 4 and the lineup of fucking Bledsoe, Middleton,
Giannis, Jabari, and
Thon Maker.
Now it would be Brook Lopez.
Yeah, now it's Brook Lopez. But
or John Henson or Thon Maker, whoever they played.
Yeah. That could finally happen, and like hopefully Jabari plays really well. And it just didn't. It just didn't
for whatever reason. And he was the number 2 pick, right after Wiggins. Yo, remember the hype from that draft? How hyped they were? Neither of them have ended up being much. Don't tank. It's dangerous. Don't tank. You end up paying Andrew Wiggins hundreds of millions of dollars.
Magic, don't listen. John Hammond, tank.
Do what you can. Oh wait, there's one more trade. Outback Jesus is home.
Oh yeah.
This is kind of inconsequential, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Matthew Dellavedova got traded back to the Cavaliers with John Henson, right? Didn't they send John Henson too?
Yes.
And who did they get?
George Hill.
If he plays like he did 2 years ago, that'd be really good for the Bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
another swing guard, another combo guard, play good defense, shoot well.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt. And they got money off the books. That was the key.
I think his role to the Bucks would be. I think it's a good trade for the Bucks.
Yeah.
I think that his role on the Bucks is much more suited for who George Hill is now than what happened with the Cavaliers last year. I think that if we're gonna have him to come off the bench, play good defense, hit open shots, fuck yeah,
and
George
he
Hill.
can handle the ball if they need him to. He can play off ball if they need him to. The best thing this does for the Bucks is it clears off their books because they have to pay a lot of dudes.
Yeah,
they have to pay Malcolm Brogdon. They have to pay Eric Bledsoe. They have to pay Brook Lopez again if they want to keep him. They have to pay. They're gonna have to pay Giannis soon, all the money in the world, and they will. But this clears off.
What's Giannis worth? Like 15 mil?
Yeah, 15. Exactly like Trevor Ariza.
I don't. Do you want to pay Giannis 15 mil?
You want to give him that Ariza money?
I don't
know.
That's
about
a lot. That Mozgov money, dude. Get out of here.
Mozzie. Yeah, dude, that Bismack Biyombo money. All right. You want to talk about Max Holloway a little bit? That card?
Oh yeah, dude. Fuck.
So you missed
so much has happened.
The beginning of that card, right?
Yes.
So UFC 231 was last week. Max Holloway defending his featherweight belt against Brian Ortega, and let's be real, it's the inaugural 125 belt fight for the women. I mean, what Nico Matano or whatever her name was had the belt, but no one knew who she was or who she fought or anything about her, and she wouldn't fight people. Like, what's with them opening new women's divisions and then the people not fighting anybody? That same thing happened at 45 with what's her name, Jermaine Durandamy. So weird. So we'll call it the inaugural 125 belt fight between Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Valentina Shevchenko. Nailed those names.
Got it.
And then there were some other good fights on the card.
So, all right. I ordered pizza while I was watching that fight specifically.
The Joanna fight? Joanna and Valentina?
Yes.
Okay.
And so it literally, the pizza came to my door. The guy knocked on my door as that fight was going down.
Okay.
And I walked over, and you could hear the TV in the background when I was talking to the guy. And he was like, oh, what you doing? And I was like, oh, just watching the fights. And he was like, all right, okay, who's fighting? And then I go, Valentina Shevchenko and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Right? Just really quick. I was like, maybe he knows, maybe he doesn't.
Maybe he doesn't.
I'm going to try and pronounce these the best I can.
Yeah.
Right? And he was just like, cool.
He's like, what did you just say? What are the words coming out of your mouth?
So many syllables.
You should have just been like, oh, it's the Max Holloway card.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, so you missed the beginning of the card, right? So you didn't see the Thiago Alves fight.
No, I did not.
Or, Thiago Santos fight.
Right.
He fought Jimmy Manuwa. Thiago Santos has moved up to light heavyweight and looks like a killer.
Yeah.
They were throwing down. It was crazy. It was a nutso fight. But you did see the other cowboy fight, right?
Yes.
Who was he fighting? Oh my gosh, who was that? I can't remember.
Nope.
Who split him open? Oh my gosh. I'm ashamed of ourselves, but whatever.
I only really
I mean,
care about the two fights.
But that fight was just nuts because of the gruesomeness of it.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
So the
whoever we're forgetting got top position on the ground and then split other cowboy's head open with an elbow, and he was bleeding a lot. And then he got him in a choke, and it just started
squirted
like
out.
Pouring like a waterfall out of his head. It was disgusting,
Yeah.
but it was also awesome. It was also super dope. But then we got to the title fight. So Valentina beat Joanna by decision. It's a really good fight, I thought.
Yeah,
really good fight.
I was surprised with Joanna's strength in that fight, because I knew that Valentina's just bigger, and is used to manhandling people. And I didn't know about the
keyword people, not just women. She beats up dudes in training too. She's a beast.
Yeah. But I also didn't know about their Muay Thai history with each other.
They'd fought each other before.
Right. They had fought each other 3 times in Muay Thai before, and Valentina won every time.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's an interesting mental aspect. I would feel like is Joanna how is
Does
that
she
going
feel
to
like she can't beat her?
Yeah. And also because Joanna's striking is so important to her game. It's so important to her game and her imposing her will over people. That's something that Joanna didn't really have an advantage in this fight.
Because Valentina does the same thing and is bigger and stronger.
And
faster? Maybe.
And there's a precedent for
her beating Joanna.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Joanna, almost all of her fights that she comes in, she can punk people.
Yeah.
You know, and
She
then
goes. She's like the Diaz style fight. The
Yeah.
punches and bunches kind of drown you in it, in the pace.
Right. But even the talking shit and mental aspect before the fight even happens, but like aside from the style, you know, she's able to punk people.
Yep.
And then you get certain people who
Just don't care. And it's almost always
like
Russian
Rose
people, it seems
Namajunas,
like.
right? Who just very like I'm gonna say a prayer for this bitch.
I feel bad for her.
But yeah, it was a great fight.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
I thought that towards like later on in the rounds, I thought that Joanna had a more significant. It seemed like she was opening up more, and it seemed like Valentina was slowing down.
Yeah, I think that she has better cardio than Valentina.
It's a natural pattern that you see with bigger fighters that cut a lot of weight. Is that like those later rounds, no matter how good their conditioning is, those later rounds they will start to slow down.
Yep. And Joanna could fight for 20 rounds.
Yeah,
she's crazy. Mm-hmm. Her pace is nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, Valentina won the fight. I thought she won. I think it was like, I think Joanna only got one round on the judges' scores. So Valentina kind of was in control of most of the fight, but it was entertaining back and forth. And a good showcase of technique and skill.
And it wasn't an out and out domination either. You know, like even though Valentina solidly won that fight, she won that fight. It wasn't as incredibly dominant.
It wasn't as one-sided as the score might seem. But the fight to talk about is one of my favorite fighters in the world, Max Holloway.
Okay, tell me why he's your favorite fighter.
Because I've been there from the beginning. Like, I saw Max Holloway's first fight ever. I think he got knocked out by Dustin Poirier.
Okay.
Or lost to Dustin Poirier, I think.
You were there in person?
Or no. Like, I just watched it.
Okay.
And it was around the time I started watching the UFC, and I was just like, I just had this connect. He was like, I think he was like this. He's the same age as us, and so he was like this 20-year-old dude, making his UFC premiere, and like I was just like, this dude is awesome. And ever since then, I catch all his fights, and I really like him, and I love watching him fight. It's the blessed era, baby.
Mm-hmm. Blessed era.
He fought another person who I really like. I really like Brian Ortega.
Yeah,
I hate his nickname. T-City's a shitty nickname. But we saw him in person.
Yeah, we saw that. I forgot who the fuck he fought.
I don't remember.
But he is the type of person who is like constantly
down.
It's so strange because he is undefeated. He was undefeated before.
He was
fight.
undefeated. Yeah,
he's
constantly losing fights and then comes back and wins them. He did it like 4 or 5 fights in a row before the Frankie Edgar fight, where he knocked out Frankie in the first round.
And that's another.
And no one had ever
thing.
finished Frankie before.
Yeah,
and he's not a knockout guy. It was like the most.
It's so fucking
insane
strange
thing. Yeah, it's so weird. But on top of having seen Brian Ortega and him being a really entertaining fighter and putting on good shows, he's also a really good dude. Mm-hmm. He's like does a lot of like stuff with charity and works with children a lot, and he's just he puts his money where his mouth is, very much so. So he's just a really likable guy. I wouldn't have been upset if he won the fight, but I love Max Holloway.
Yeah,
and that fight was dope.
Yeah, it was a great fight.
That
was a great fucking fight.
Dope.
And it was
it's another fight of the year contender.
Yeah. I mean, I fucking really enjoyed it. But it was one of those fights that it wasn't a good fight in that like, like both these guys are standing or both these guys are going back and forth as far as like, this person's winning. This person's winning.
No, Max Holloway was
like, it was pretty dominant.
Yeah.
But it was interesting in seeing someone confront struggle.
Yeah.
And Brian Ortega is someone that could come back anytime in the fight and beat Max Holloway.
He could get some kind of crazy submission.
He could fucking catch him in a guillotine and just
land a good strike, something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
he never backed down.
And not only just because of his talent, because of his skill that he could catch him. But
it's body of work.
The most impressive thing about that fight, aside from Max Holloway's ability to
a skill level and dominant. Like, I would say it's Brian Ortega's toughness and heart. Yeah.
His fucking heart.
Yeah. He's a straight up warrior.
This man was fucked up. Like,
so much so that the doctor stopped the fight. That's how it ended after the 4th round.
Yeah.
Which Holloway called, by the way, which was awesome.
Yeah. He was like, it's gonna.
He walked over to Joe Rogan before the 4th round. He was like, I'm gonna end it.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It's pretty gangster. Calling your shot is really
cool.
But so my parents were big into boxing. My dad would always talk about Chavez, and he would always talk about this fight that Chavez was fought. I forgot who he fought, but he was just fucked up, and he came back and he won the fight. And he would always bring that up.
Because it's like a movie. It's like a legendary myth. It's the human spirit embodied. It's awesome.
Yeah, being able to
the comeback
that.
victory and overcoming struggle and hardship is just awesome.
And Brian Ortega is like
That's why we love Rocky. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
And Brian Ortega has that. He has that
In
kind of
spades.
fucking spirit.
Yeah.
That where you're like this.
He'll never quit. He'll never stop.
Out. He's
not out
this.
of it ever.
And like literally the doctors had to stop because he's not going to.
Yeah. No, never. That fifth round. Oh man, I wanted to see a fifth round.
Me too.
Just because it was so entertaining.
And he was like on his last legs. I mean, this man was wobbling. He has fucking blood leaking from his face. His left eye is fucking
swollen shut.
He's fucked up.
Yeah.
And
but
I was
he's
like,
still coming after it. No quit.
And coming forward.
Yeah,
and he's
no
not
quit.
He's not just trying to survive. He's trying to fucking win a fight.
He's trying to win. Yeah.
And fuck, man, like there was that. I would say the third round is where like that fight went from like pretty good fight to like holy shit.
Yeah.
Because that was like the most even round out of the entire fight, and
they
were both.
Ortega was making
nailing
a
each
comeback. Yeah.
other. And, like
they were just laying it on.
Yeah.
I think that spirit also kind of speaks in the other direction to how good Max Holloway is. Like the ability to just continue to stave that off. It speaks to his own spirit and resilience. Yeah. And skill. Like the dude is just so talented. He's so precise and accurate, and his timing is impeccable, and his movement and he's just like I love watching him fight. It's crazy the way that he just drowns people in his fists.
Yeah.
I loved
and it's cool to see him fight someone who's going to tread that water.
Yeah.
You know, who's game. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really fucking fun.
I loved watching whenever Ortega would get like knocked down, he would try to lay there, and Holloway would do that thing where he's like, "Nah, I'm not stupid. I'm not going down there with you. I'm not gonna risk it."
I think there was one time I don't know if it was the second or the third round where he literally got clipped and he acted like he fell down.
Yeah.
Instead of just pulling guard, which he tried to do a couple times, he literally
he tried to entice Max to come try to finish him.
Exactly.
To get him to the ground. Yeah.
It's smart, but Max Holloway was like,
he was like, no. I know what you do. They call you T-City for a reason. But yeah, that fight was super dope. We're getting a good closeout to the UFC. I mean, it's been a good year in general, I think, for the UFC. We got one big card left. John Jones, baby. John Jones, baby. John Jones. First cuts. I'm really excited for that. We'll talk about that fight after it. But
what's next for Max Holloway?
I think he might have to fight Frankie.
Cause didn't he like come out and said who the fuck's next?
That's literally what he said.
Who the fuck?
He hasn't fought Frankie. The problem with that is that Frankie lost to Brian Ortega.
Yeah.
But I would love to see him fight Frankie. I think that'd be a really cool fight.
Who could he have a super fight with?
Here's the thing. Well, they talked about Khabib already, which I'd rather see him fight Conor again. That'd be awesome.
I think that would be fucking.
That would be
amazing.
awesome.
I would love that fight.
Because his last fight, 12 or 13 fights ago, his last loss was a decision to Conor McGregor. Yeah, which is nuts.
Which is nuts on both sides because Conor didn't finish him.
Yeah, Conor didn't finish him.
Right,
he finishes it. Most fights that he wins, he finishes.
Yeah.
I don't care as much about who he fights next as much as how I want him to fight in Hawaii.
That'd be dope.
Give him a Hawaii card. What are you doing? Give it to the man. They go nuts for him. I got like chills. They were doing Bruce Buffer was doing his thing, and he said, "The pride of Hawaii, Max Blessed Holloway." I was like, "Oh, that's so cool!" It's so cool. The pride of Hawaii.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you know why Canada is like so tied to Hawaii? Why is that a thing? What's the 10th island thing? I don't understand that.
I don't know.
They like refer to Canada as the 10th island, and Max Holloway is like it's like a second home kind of. I don't really understand what it is, but it has some sort of tie to Hawaii, and I don't get it.
No idea.
Could you be more opposite in terms of climate and lifestyle?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I have no idea, dude. That's really weird. It's
wild.
This is the first time that I've heard about it.
I have one more thing about MMA. I don't know if you heard about this. So we know about the trade of Mighty Mouse to ONE Championship. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know this, though. Sage Northcutt and Eddie Alvarez both signed with them.
With ONE?
With ONE.
Okay.
So they've been sort of stocking up some more fighters.
Okay.
Last week they announced that they made a deal with Turner Sports to air their fights, meaning there will be fight nights for free on TNT, where the NBA is shown a lot of times, and Turner Sports' pay-per-view or whatever is done on Bleacher Report Live. So you can subscribe to Bleacher Report Live to see their fights.
Okay.
ONE's making a move. It's interesting.
That is interesting.
It's one of those things, like, the more I see, like, Bellator and ONE and Invicta and all of these things,
it's
like,
better for the sport of MMA.
It's better for the sport, but at the same time, I'm like, no one's going to touch the UFC. It's similar to these different leagues in football trying to start, and it's like you're just trying to capitalize on the success of the NFL by making a league that's happening when the NFL is off season, so people can watch football. Mm-hmm. Like, you're trying to take advantage of the gap. It's a little different for MMA because UFC's year round. But I do think it's better for the sport to. I think that other promotions being successful will push the UFC to improve itself more than anything.
Yeah. Like specifically, if you have a promotion that's willing to pay its fighters more,
like Bellator's been doing to steal guys,
and UFC starts realizing, we're losing fighters, we're not going to be.
We have to treat our fighters better.
Exactly.
Which I think I think in terms of longevity of the sport, that's the key, is making sure that the people that get into the sport are going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Because that's the big knock against the UFC right now. Cool. You got anything else?
Since we're talking about the UFC, do you know anything about this Greg Hardy card?
I don't. The one tonight? Is that tonight?
Is it tonight?
Iaquinta versus Kevin Lee? Is it that card?
Yes.
I know the card is happening. And I know that I want Al Iaquinta to win.
So I'm not sure if we won't talk about it then.
Well, are you talking about Greg Hardy?
Yeah. So he is.
I know about Greg Hardy.
So he is on a card for the UFC.
Oh, on the same. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
And he's on the same
What's
card
her name?
as a female fighter who has a history of domestic violence.
She literally couldn't fight.
Of being a victim of
domestic. She couldn't fight a recent fight she was scheduled for because she was the victim of a domestic violence incident.
Yeah.
And she physically couldn't fight. And Greg Hardy, for those of you who don't know, is a former NFL player who was essentially banished from the league for continued legal problems, most of which involved domestic assault and violence crimes. Now, Dana White has been going around talking about how he's been going to therapy and he's changed himself and he's with his family and saying all the buzzwords or whatever.
But also, why the fuck are you gonna make that card?
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Like,
and then I saw an interview with him on ESPN where he was like, I can't remember the female's name,
right?
Which kind of seems like a disservice to the whole issue, and I feel bad about it.
True.
But he was like, yeah, I talked to her, and she said she's cool with it. She doesn't care about it. And I was like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, what, you called her up and you're like, oh, hey, I'm going to put Greg Hardy on the card. Hope you don't care. If you care, we'll just take you off and we won't pay you.
Yeah,
it's like, what do you want her to say or do?
There's a lot of things about the UFC that I just get disappointed with.
Yeah.
From a promotional standpoint, like in the same way that the NFL is, where I'm just like, kind of, you're fucking not dealing with this the right way.
What was the Scott Van Pelt term? The
perpetually tone deaf.
Perpetually tone deaf.
Perpetually tone deaf.
Oh, jeez.
And the UFC has a little bit of that. I don't think they're necessarily as bad as the NFL. But yeah. I wanted to bring that up.
I mean, to me, when I saw that Greg Hardy was getting signed by the UFC, I was surprised. I was like, why are you taking a chance on someone with this much bad history tied to them? It's crazy. And on top of that, you are a combat sport. And his problems are with beating women. All it does is lean into the stigma of the negative ideas of the sport.
True.
And like it's weird because we were talking about second chances earlier, and like, do people deserve them? And is it possible that Greg Hardy has gone to therapy and dealt with his personal issues, and has this good relationship now with his family? Sure, it's possible. It's possible. Yes, it's possible.
Right.
But it's just so tone deaf. What the way they're handling it, it's rough.
Yeah. Stupid. Can we take a break? So
I'm pretty much. You want to wrap it up?
Huh?
Do you have more?
I mean, nah, not really.
You don't want to wrap it up, or you don't have more?
I don't have more.
Yeah, we can just wrap it, and then you can go to the bathroom. I just got to do a quick. It'll be my shout out. You got a shout out?
Yeah, I got a shout out.
All right, what is it? I forgot.
I have a really unoriginal. At least it feels unoriginal. Okay. Shout out. I'm a shout out.
The Dark Knight.
Nope, I don't think it's that bad. I'm gonna shout out Alan Moore.
Okay.
He's
crazy.
He's nuts. He's nuts. So for those that aren't well versed in comic books and graphic novels, yada yada, he is a comic book writer, and he is the source of such things as Watchmen, V for Vendetta, League of Extraordinary
Gentlemen. They're literally right there.
But some of the most critically acclaimed graphic novels, comic books, whatever you want to call them,
of all time.
He's
also written some weird stuff.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
That one. What was the one that? Oh, I can't remember what it was called. You know what I'm thinking of.
Are you talking about the porn comic that he wrote?
Yeah.
So he did write a porn comic with the main characters being Cinderella.
It was like,
I think, Wendy from Peter Pan.
Yeah.
It was really fucking strange.
It's weird.
He's a weirdo. He's into literal magic and doing seances and shit. Fucking super fascinating dude.
He's damn good at what he does.
I would really encourage, if you are into writing, philosophy, dudes with deep British voices, to look up on YouTube. There's a documentary called The Mindscape of Alan Moore, and it's just him talking about certain shit, and him talking about writing, and talking about
he's also
magic and how closely they are related.
The weird thing with him is he's kind of like pretentious about comics too. You know what I mean?
In what way do you mean?
Like he's just, it's hard to explain. Like he just has this sort of like, he
is pretentious about comics being adapted into things.
Yeah, for sure.
But he doesn't call comics graphic novels. He's like, no, they're comic books.
Okay, that's cool.
But
I just feel like he has this weird sort of, it's the adaptation thing is probably where it comes from, where he just, if something isn't the way he thinks it should be, he deems it to have no value, it seems like. Which is kind of a closed-minded way to think. To think.
So yeah.
But he's also a genius.
Exactly. Yeah. So whatever you think about his personality, like that, I would definitely recommend his comics. If you have zero, fucking like never read a comic book in your life, and you want to read potentially like one of the greatest,
Watchmen.
which is literally like literary works.
Yeah.
Read Watchmen.
Yeah.
Read Watchmen.
Don't watch Watchmen. Read Watchmen.
Read Watchmen and then watch the movie, because what movie's not that bad?
No, it's a pretty good movie.
The movie's not that bad. It's pretty good.
But read it. You want to know my shout out? The Miami Miracle. I just gotta talk about it. I just gotta talk about it.
That's gonna be your shout out?
Listen.
A play?
Listen. The Miami Dolphins completed perhaps the greatest play in the history of football.
Really?
NFL football.
Yeah.
There's never ever in the history.
Are you being like, I don't know?
There's
enough
never
about
in the history of football been a walk-off offensive touchdown.
Really?
From what was it? From that distance. Like, it's the longest walk-off touchdown of all time.
Right.
There's never been a successful lateral play in the NFL with multiple laterals in it that scored a touchdown. There was the what was it with the old Titans, I think, with the throwback across the field, I can't remember the name of it, but there was one. They threw a lateral all the way back across the field and they scored.
Right.
It's never been done with multiple laterals before. I was sitting. I was home with my family. We were watching the Dolphin game, And like when the Patriots had the ball, we were like talking about like, should we let them score so we have some time to get the ball back and try to score and get an onside kick? Like, we're still in this, but it's a long shot. And then they got a first down and we're like, it's over. I was like, we'll get the ball back, but with like 20 seconds maybe. It's over. And I was really dejected. Our playoff hopes were gone.
Yeah.
And then the Miami Miracle happened. It's just, if you like sports, if you like seeing people go fucking crazy, if you like seeing long odds happen, just go Google the Miami Miracle. There's really cool videos of like cut with the play with like fan reactions going on and different radio edits of the call and stuff. There's really great videos of it. It's just awesome. Yeah. It's just so awesome. And my favorite thing, I listened to. There's a YouTube video with the TV announcers, the Miami Dolphin radio announcers, and the Patriots radio announcers. And the Patriot radio announcers are talking, and you hear them. They're like, "Oh, Gronk's back there to stop the Hail Mary if they throw it." And the guy was like, "I don't know if they're going to throw a Hail Mary from here. I thought it's kind of weird. They have Gronk out there." And they're like, "Yeah, but no." And the play starts, and he's like, they throw it to Kenny Stills, and he laterals it. Like, he's kind of like, this isn't going to work. Right. He gives it to, and then he's like, and Devontae Parker pitches it to Kenyon Drake, and then you hear that's the play-by-play. The color guy literally goes, "Oh, Jesus." You just know the second it's when Ted Larson hits the block and Kenyon Drake turns the corner, right. The guy literally goes, "Oh, Jesus." He knows. He's like, "We're fucked. It's happening." Yeah. And then the guy's like, "Gronk's the only one there." "Oh no." And then he scores. Oh, the fact that he goes, "Oh, Jesus," kills me. It's so funny. And all this speaks to the fact that for some reason the Miami Dolphins own Tom Brady in Miami for some reason, and I'm so happy about it. That's my shout out. Fins up, go Dolphins. We're still alive. Yeah. Alan Moore, Miami Miracle. This has been the Chris and Kyle Show. It's good to be back. Look forward to Spider-Man week this week. We have 2 spoiler episodes for you. Spider-Man 3, we're going to talk about why it's not as bad as people think. And we went and saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Very excited about that one for you. Look forward to that on Wednesday, Thursday, both of them. Wednesday and Thursday. Hit us up on the socials, the Chris and Kyle Show on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on all podcasting platforms, tcaks pod on Twitter. You've got a few days left to vote on the poll for the final spoiler episode of the month between Aquaman and Bumblebee. So let your voice be heard. Hit us up in the comments, like, share, rate, review everything. Let your friends know. I think that's it. I think we out.
We out. Stay weird.
Fins up.